Gotta have a theme.
Yeah, Mo's great. I'm happy to be here. I'm really thankful to have met you, Mo. And
we're having fun.
We're having a blast.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun behind the scenes together.
Yeah, it's silly.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
You guys will dig it.
I got a couple different
funny,
right?
It is. It's really fun.
Yeah, I'm completely schizophrenic on it. But you play the son.
I'm a little boy.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be and always got made fun of sounding like a boy in middle school, so now I'm getting paid for it.
That's so
Thank you very much.
You got made fun of for sounding like a boy?
Yeah,
and now
you're a raspy voice.
You're a singer.
Yeah.
That is such a great this.
Thank you very much.
There's what little boy voice. It's kind of fun.
Yeah,
Good for you.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, I'm feeling all right tonight. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be alive. Is anybody else happy to just be alive? Woo! 2015. I'm just getting over some food poisoning. And so anybody in the front row, second row, if you want to, take a scoot back or put on a bib or I don't know. Yeah, it's not my first rodeo with food poisoning. I'd like to give a few shout outs to, well, first of all, the lovely little Asian man who poisoned me last night. It used to be my favorite restaurant. And then, let's see, there's also my ex-boyfriend who gave me some bug-infested oranges from God knows where. I'm glad that he had some of those as well.
All of that was last night?
No, not last night. I'm making a compilation.
That's a collage of poison.
I got more. There's something else. Oh yeah, there's a restaurant. I shouldn't name names, but I will say it starts with cheese and ends in factory. Thank you for the lovely burger. I'll never forget it. Yeah, so I'm starting to feel like a cat these days. My favorite number's 9, and I have long nails, but. Really, other than that, I've just had a lot of near-death experiences. Quite a few in the last couple of years, I'd say. And I'd like to share the last one I just encountered, which was it's very fresh. It's a couple of weeks ago. I was flying from LAX, had a layover in Indianapolis, trying to get to Chicago to go home and see my family, who I miss ever so dearly, and I cherish the moments we have together because it's such a busy life. And I'm all alone out here pretty much, so it's nice when I get to go home or actually get there. So anyways, I'm taking the flight from LAX to Indianapolis. There's a wonderful layover. And turns out there's some maintenance issues, quote unquote. And it takes about, not 1, not 2, but 3 hours of delays before it's been ready. And I'm hanging out, and I just, I'm kind of like that Chevy Chase character. I always have this, I'm really, I have this prosperity, and I'm positive. I'm keeping, we're going to get there someday. I haven't eaten since 9:30, but hey, I'm sure we'll get on in a few minutes, So 3 hours go by, and I finally go and head up to the woman at this little diner, and I'm like, hey, lady, I know it's getting close, but can I just grab, a banana and maybe a beer to go? I'm sorry, it's too late. You missed your chance. And I'm like, well, come on, it's not quite 8 o'clock yet. It's close enough. And then in the back, I see a woman, the cook. She's like, oh, she needs something? Does she? I'm like, yeah, I'd like a banana. And she's like, no, she's not. She doesn't need anything. She's missed her slot. The time is over. Go take your seat. I'm just like, what a bitch, But I had to maintain my composure, stay composed. So I go and take a little seat, and I'm starving. We finally start to board the plane. And it's a lovely miniature baby plane from the 1950s, I'm sure. And
it's so cute.
It is so cute.
Try it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
You see like a little gremlin in the window already. So yeah, we start to board, and we're finally on the plane. Everybody, all 13 of us on board. What a lucky number.
Oh my God.
And it's no joke. It really was 13. So anyways, we're all ready to take off, and then the pilot comes on the speaker, and he goes, all right, folks, well, I know you've been so patient, but there's too many aircrafts at Chicago O'Hare Airport, so we're going to have to wait a little bit longer. So just sit tight, all right? Okay, so everybody go on your Instagram, whatever. And we're all, doing our thing, pretty calm, trying to remain calm. And then you know, 20, 30 minutes go by. He finally comes back on, and he's like, all right, folks, we're going to start taxiing. Yay! We finally are starting to taxi our way off, which feels like an eternity later. And then one by one, people are starting to cough. And I'm looking around and starting to smell something a little funny. And I take a big old whiff, and it smells like some smoldering, burning plastic garbage. And I'm thinking, what the hell is this? It smells like, you know, a computer from 1980 that was just kind of melted into an iPod. I don't know. That actually sounds pretty accurate. I wish.
I think that sounds very accurate.
Thank you. I don't know. That's all I could come up with right now.
It's brilliant.
Thank you. So, anyways, we're all starting to cough, and I'm looking around like, is anybody gonna say something? Like, how long are we gonna all know that we're coughing on each other and dying?
In unison.
In unison is beautiful. Yeah. And so finally, somebody flags over to the flight attendant. Excuse me, man. I'm coughing here. It smells pretty bad. And it smells a little bit like shit. And she's like, oh, she starts to freak out. Oh my God. She starts pacing, running back and forth up and down the aisle. There's only one flight attendant. Like a chicken with her head cut off. And I'm just like, I mean, there is a pilot up there, right? I don't think he's in the back. Is this a different kind of plane? I'm not sure. So finally, the pilot, our friendly pilot, comes back on and says just about the worst things you ever want to hear your pilot say. Well, folks, thanks for sitting tight. We have just become aware that there's some type of burning in the back. It's safe to say that we're not safe right now. We need to exit the aircraft immediately. So just sit tight. Another 20 to 30 minutes go by. That's very calming. And,
Still no banana?
No. Almost as hungry as I am right now after food poisoning. And yeah, so then finally the lady, we're like, so what are we gonna do? She's like, okay, folks, we need to get up. We need to line up. We need to get up now, okay? We need to do this fast, efficiently. She's freaking out. Everybody else around her's like, okay, like get together. It's funny, you see the people that are in, you know, have the authority. They're the ones that kind of lose it by the end, you know. Well, hopefully not the end. But anyway, so she's like, all right, everybody get up, stand in line. We're gonna, I don't know what she was, maybe some Slavic or something. I'm just making it up. Anyways, we're in this line, and now we're all huddled up in this baby plane. It's like one of my only proudest moments being a midget because I can stand fine. But everybody else is like, you know, it's like a very small miniature plane.
The old neck ache.
Yeah, the old neck ache. So, not as bad as the one that we're about to feel. So she's like, I'm like, all right, so hey lady, what's the hold up then? We're all huddled up here and got us all revved up. She's like, well, there's no staircase. There's nothing to get down. There's no air balloon slide. I don't know what to do. We're just want to go to flight school. Like, we got shit together. Like, I was prepared to open an emergency exit, but not to freaking blow up a, I don't know, balloon and fly down. So I'm like, okay, so what's your bright idea? She's like, you know what? We don't have time for this. We all just need to jump. You guys need to jump and run. Excuse me, jump? Yes, jump. Everybody just go. Without a moment of thinking, people are starting to jump. I went out to the plane, to the edge of the plane, saw my life flash before me. It actually, I had a flashback to a party that I was once at in Chicago. It was during idle time. And I may or may not have been legal, and I may or may not have had a drink. And I wanted to get out of this party, so I jumped out a window because this cop showed up. I looked over and I thought it was 2 feet. Turns out it was about 15. So this was like the exact same thing. It was about 10 to 15 feet. We were taxiing on the runway.
You were No, but the airport ran out with like some, I don't know, blankets, pillows, something.
Stairs?
These guys are like back there like, no, I say I ain't going over there. There's some sparks and shit, okay? That's pretty much like so, okay, I have my bags, I'm ready to go, and I'm thinking like, okay, is somebody gonna catch me? No, well, at least I was prepared from that party back in 9 or 10 or 11, whatever it was. So I just go for it, and I leap down, and it's pouring out, it's pouring rain. And I'm alright, you know, I was like, hey, I still got it. So I'm like, it's kind of a movie moment, which happens quite often, but you know, I'm sure you guys have these experiences, well maybe not this experience, but where you're running, and I'm looking back and I'm thinking, this thing could explode at any given second, like, what? And then I was thinking, like, are there old people on this plane? Is there a handicapped woman who's got a bad leg? Like, what are we gonna do? Thankfully, no, there was only like 13 very, you know, hardy, mostly males.
The most crippled one was the stewardess.
And then, you know, it's funny because I look back and I see her freaking out, right? And I'm like, got a noose around her neck. She's like, I can't go down with the plane. And I realized she's the last one that has to get off. So no wonder she's freaking out, thinking like, we're gonna wait for all these mother effers to get off. I'm just running back and looking back at it, and I see like fire ambulances coming and fire trucks out the whole 9 yard. I mean, the whole shebang. And then we get in and we get, you know, more bad news, of course.
No bananas?
No bananas, first of all, which I'm about to fix. And secondly, well, guys, there are no more flights out this evening, so you're gonna have to stay in Indianapolis tonight, you know, the greatest city in the world. Yeah, so we go to the Radisson, and none of us had eaten. We got our fancy meal vouchers for $12 here, and one for breakfast in the morning for $7. I tried to do a combo, and the woman at this diner, the only bar open at the restaurant, was like, no, we can't do that. I'm like, oh, of course not. Of course you can't do meals or something.
Yeah.
You know? And the best part is I'm sitting with 3 men who were on the same flight. It was a young Indian man from Germany, an Indian doctor. Which was pretty cool. And a very petite, soft-spoken, feathered hair ballet boy from LA. And a 6'5" Navy SEAL that was mixed and played the ukulele. We all ate, and it was a round table. It felt like it was literally like a scene out of The Godfather, you know, a round table with these huge leather seats that you could fit 5 of me in, and it was something else. And like 5 Bloody Marys later, I just like F it, you know.
The lack.
Which airline was this?
That is really lacking. From the fucking girl who wouldn't give you a banana because it was close enough to 8 o'clock. What's wrong?
What's wrong with people?
You can say that you jumped off of me.
I'm ready to go. I've got my parachute. And if anything else happens.
And this is like during the holidays. It's so heightened.
Yeah.
All of that, right? Like you're just trying to get home to see your family. I have 3 tears stuck in Indiana with a $7 voucher for eggs. It's gonna be cold by the time they get to you. It's just
It's a sad story.
But you know, you are a resilient one. and you are. You just have that. God, don't you want to meet the stewardess? I wish Well, Haley, guess what we... Every one of us get to shove her off the stage. It's just, she shouldn't be in that business.
No, and I don't think the pilot should either. I mean, I left from Chicago. I was finally off the plane, and I was like, I made it. And I walk away, and off in the distance, I hear, "Yeah, man, Will, I guess there was there was sparks flying in the back of the plane." And I'm like, "What?" And because it was a whole new, the whole new crew.
His computer on fire back there.
Yeah, it turns out it was the same pilot who was flying my plane to Chicago. And I'm like, hey, did you just say a plane with burning smell? And he's like, yeah, turns out, were you on that flight? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, it turns out there was a lot of stuff burning in the converter and things were molded. Wait, he's like, so you were on that flight? I was like, yes. He's like, well, good luck. I was like,
we're so happy you're alive and well, aren't we? Yes.
Yeah.
Can you really?
Do we come carry her?
Yeah, will you come help her down on this?
She'll jump.
Let's do what the airlines Yeah, great story. Thank you.
Haley!
We do more than the airlines. We are not.